Hi, welcome to another video on my carriage robot of fischertechnik with propeller and monorail with software running on the BeagleBoard Classic via the fischertechnik robot interface. Last time I decided to reverse the direction of the motor. As a consequence, the propeller is now on this side, and due to some speed I had some derailments last time, but another thing was that it is not quite stable. And if I put everything like this, let me adjust the camera a bit, then it will be clear what happens. I start the program. This is one thing, and then as soon as it comes the way of the sonar, which is on this way, it is quite unstable. This way it hardly rocks, and this is also something that was quite new. In this way it barely moves, and when I put it like this, it suddenly starts moving. And then this happens. So whatever the cause, I don't really like it. And if I see what it might cause, it is right here. I might catch it somehow with something, see if that solves the matter. But in any way, it doesn't do as I like. Another thing I did solve was clearly that the 8.0 signaling from the lamp and the sensor is now clearly working. I can see that on screen, so that's one thing. But what I want to solve is first this. And last time from this side it was quite shaking in some large kind of sinus, and that can be quite harmful for sensors and actuators, this being of course the sensor and this lamp being the actuator. So a way to solve it is actually leaving the monorail idea behind and using two rails again, leaving it hanging. But the question is, will that solve the derailment? I don't know. All I can do is test it. I could do that right now. So then I would have to change this, but also change the carriage. So let's see what I can do. As a start, I want to test one thing first. I want to replace this part with this, where I kind of catch the front of the propeller. So first I have to take off this carefully. Remove it. Then here and put it in. So with this it may be possible to catch it, and I see that I have to lower this a little bit. And maybe even more. Oops. So I can actually catch the propeller. So let's see what the result of this replacement action is. So when I look at this, it actually doesn't look bad. There's no shaking anymore. And there is nice speed back and forth. So let me put everything like this and see what happens then. I think this is a cable problem. So not quite so. This is a worse result than when I put it like this, and why that is, I'm not quite sure. But I like this result a bit better. Just the timing is a little bit off, because it clearly signals 4 centimeters and 12 centimeters, but it waits too long to my idea. But I'll leave the monorail as is for now. But let's look at the timing. So now with the slight modification at the end of the light actuator and receiver, I want to see what the actual sleeping time is. So the sonar is here, and it sleeps for let's get it here, because this is when it is smaller or larger, smaller or equal to 5 centimeters, and I have to keep in mind that the minimum reliable distance is 2 centimeters and the resolution is 1 centimeter. So actually although this reads smaller than or equal to 5, it actually is larger than and equal to 2, and smaller than and equal to 5. But then it says turn clockwise. Clockwise should be I go towards the light. Let's say here distance is 12 and this is 4. I'll change this because I really want to know when which is. So if I get this, it's more clear. And then to be completely accurate, I'll do this. Then I know which is which. So let's go again. Smaller than 5, which is, and that is interesting. This is quite interesting because this one says larger than 12 is 12 centimeters, which is larger than 5. So is that correct? So it is larger than 5. It is at the side of the light, and then it has to go counterclockwise. Let's see again. It is now at the side of the sonar. Now it is at the side of the light. Side of the sonar again. Side of the sonar again, so it waits. So the point is, with this now being at the side of the sonar again, how long does it wait? Well, it sleeps for the waiting time is 1 second. and by experience, if I 1 is the smallest amount of time and it's integer, because if I change it, now let me take the one I'm busy with, for instance this, I will get an error. I should get an error. Interesting. Interesting, it doesn't give an error. I thought so far sleep cannot be smaller than 1 second. But I don't get an error message, so apparently it can. And it runs back and forth, and I see this as well, but now I don't see the 8-1, which is interesting as well. Will I see the 8-1-2? So let me just change this. Oh, that's quite interesting. The lamp doesn't burn anymore. Let's fix that. Start again. Do I see a light? No, I don't see a light. Is that correct? No, that's not correct. There is a wire problem. I have to correct a wiring. The wiring should be fixed now. So let's check. Will everything work again? Yes, everything works again. Yes, nicely. So back to where we started. This is actually I can't determine the difference between this half second and this 1 second. So maybe I should even change that to a quarter second. See if that changes something. Not that I can tell. I hope you can hear the sound of the propeller in the microphone. Like this, it is at the end at the light, but that's not a quarter second. More like 1 second. So I, although this is more clear to what it actually does, I think the sleeping time is not changed, although it says quarter second and I don't get an error. The return time and turnaround time has not changed really. The shaking, the rocking has changed a lot since the modification at the lights end, so that is definitely an improvement. And this is actually the carriage being at the sonar for a very long time. So now it keeps saying larger than 5, which actually is not correct because it is at the sonar end. And you can see that because it says 1, but you should expect distance would be smaller than 5, so it at the sonar end it should say this one, and it says this. So now it goes away. This is interesting. It looks like that these two events are reversed. So let me manually keep it back. Now it keeps saying larger than 5. Now it's smaller than 5. I let it go. So I think, as it looks now, is that the software output lags behind the hardware situation. And that's an interesting thing. That's a very interesting thing. And it is something I will save for solving next time. Is this correct? Is this indeed a situation? Well, yes, because sensors don't lie. So this will actually be at the light's end, like this will be at the sonar's end. So the throughput, how fast is the throughput? And that is a question, I think, of the BeagleBoard speed and the controller speed, the robot interface. Quite interesting to check on it. So quite nice to have some new questions, some solutions, or I hope that this is a solution. I doubt it, but modification of the setup is nice. And for now, thanks for watching, and to be continued.